card is a bantamweight matchup between Frankie Edgar going up against Marlon Vera. Edgar is coming in at 23-9-1 and is the plus 140 underdog, whereas Marlon Vera is 17-7-1 and is the minus 165 favorite. Edgar is a fighter who has a wrestling and boxing background. He uses quickness and athleticism to attack his opponents. He likes to use lower calf kicks, high kicks, and body kicks. He usually throws a jab 1-2, 2-1, and has a pretty good fighter IQ. He tends to shoot for a double leg takedown or a single leg takedown. And when he gets his opponents on the mat, he has good transitions and ground and pound. He usually has good cardio, but his chin isn't as durable as it used to be anymore. Then he got Marlon Vera, who is a southpaw fighter who tends to switch his stances and walk down his opponent. He has nice kicks and tends to attack his opponent's lead leg a lot. He has a strong Muay Thai background that he uses in the clinch, and he tends to knee his opponent when they come in right away. He tends to get behind on the judges' cards in some fights, but he has been on a hot streak of lately. Jim, what do you think of this fight? And then who do you have winning?
Yeah, this is a very interesting matchup. I think Frankie's wrestling could come into play during this fight and would benefit Frankie greatly. Like you highlighted with the switch stance and then the attack in the lead leg, it would negate Frankie's athleticism, one of his greatest strengths. So I think he's going to have to do a wrestle first kind of game plan for this fight. Cheeto's very durable, has above average takedown defense, but he is susceptible to the takedown. If it stays standing, I see Vera getting the win. But if this goes to the ground, Frankie's going to be able to stay on the ground, control the mat, control the fight. So this was a tough one of many tough choices on this card. But I'm going to go with Frankie Edgar on this one. I think he's due for a big win. Cheeto Vera is a big win at this point in Frankie Edgar's career because he's at the gatekeeper role. He's essentially the gatekeeper of this division. So I think that this is a big win. So I'm going to go Frankie by decision.
Yeah, for this one, it's going to be a battle of whether they stand up or the fight goes to the ground, like you said. If it's standing up, I think Marlon Vera has the volume and just the power to attack Edgar.
Hmm.
Edgar's chin, like I said, it's not the same it was before. He's been knocked out several times in his last fight. Of course, you know what happened with that flying
Yeah.
knee from
Whew.
Sandhagen that just killed him.
Scary.
But then Edgar really hasn't used his wrestling as much. He showed it in Munoz fight,
Hmm.
but even with that one, that fight could have went either way with how they were fighting, and that was
Yeah.
5 rounds. This is only 3 rounds. And one key point here is even in the clinch, Vera has very good submissions.
Yeah.
So even if he takes him down, Edgar has to be afraid of Vera catching him in like a guillotine or a slip to the back to get a rear naked
Yep.
choke because that is that is there because he's done that in the past.
Yep.
But for me, I'm going the opposite. I'm going Marlon Vera. I think he's going to be able to stuff enough takedowns in the 3 round fight and just out volume him because even if he gets takedown maybe once or twice, I think the volume difference is going to be too high in favor of Vera for the takedown to mean much in this fight. I think he's going to pull
Okay.
in a lot. I think it could get anywhere from like 80 to 90 strikes in this because he's going to be the quicker guy, move around. Frankie Edgar's, what is he, like 40 now, just about? And so he's on the last leg of his career, whereas Vera is the fresher guy. So I'm going to
Yeah.
go with Vera by unanimous decision.
Okay. So do you think Cheeto Vera? Do you think that he's gonna push the pace, or he's
Yeah,
gonna let Frankie, or he's gonna have Frankie walk into those counters?
I think it would be better for him to push the pace because he does have the not only can he strike, he has the leg kicks. You saw in the Sean
Yep.
O'Malley fight where he was able to get those lower calf kicks going from the
Yep.
start, and he did a lot of damage. I think he's going to want to do that. Yeah, start with those. See if he can slow down Edgar because if Edgar doesn't have that speed that he usually likes to use, like rushing in or attacking, he's not going to be able to wrestle as good because he's
Yeah.
going to be slow down. It's going to give Vera time to defend. So I think he's going to do a little bit of that to start out.
Yeah, I mean, it would be to Cheeto's advantage to get Frankie on his back foot and drive him back to the cage so he can
Yeah,
work the clinch, then try and get the neck and negate those takedowns. But this was a when this was announced, it was a very interesting matchup because I didn't know where the odds were going to go because usually Frankie's like a betting favorite,
yeah,
and when he was matched up against Cheeto, I was like, Cheeto's a great fighter. I wonder if he's going to come in as the favorite, and he did. So I'm curious to see how this night starts because usually we're not on different ends of the spectrum for the first
yeah,
fight, but this is going to be interesting for our little game that we play on
yeah.
in terms
This
of
is
our picks.
this is definitely a test for Vera to see if he can move up into the upper echelon of
Yeah.
the bantamweights because he did beat O'Malley, and then he went to war with Grant,
Yep.
and so if he can pick this up, then we know that he's ready to test out the top guys in the division.
Yeah, it's only going to get harder from here, man. He had that real test with Aldo a little while ago. This is that next step with Edgar.